probably pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, Jungle probably having the slight lead as we get underway here. So this is a very important match indeed. If Jungle wins this, it could set us up for a three-way tie for first place in Group C. So interesting to see the results of this, but anything can happen. Even though his PB is slightly better than Maelin's, could come down to the wire.
That is true. This game is not RNG heavy enough to make it unfun, but you know, makes it interesting. Kind of makes an even playing field for sure.
Yeah, the RNG can determine your routing when you decide to go shopping, what you buy when you go shopping. So instead of sort of hurting you, it just makes the run more interesting.
Indeed, it's one of the reasons I like to run it. You never know what's gonna happen. That is certainly a factor in what's gonna happen in this run. But you know, right now they're just making their way downtown. Nothing too exciting to see here, except you know, some pretty cool tech and showing off of all the items that we're gonna be using, including the scimitar / risky boots / pirate hat / cannonball.
Yeah, I mean,
so the risky boots, as you see, are what allow them to go fast. It's when you see them sprinting like that, that's the risky boots in play. The cannonball is what you see them jumping for. That gives them 3 extra shots, I believe, if I'm doing that math correct, but I'm probably not.
That is correct, yeah.
Hey, look at that. And then the hat as well allows them to float and do some good stuff.
Yeah, so they're against first by Ammo Baron here. Jungle having a slightly better start. So what can happen here is that Ammo Baron can do one of 3 things. He can charge, he can shoot black cannonballs, and he can shoot red cannonballs. And what you want him to do is shoot red cannonballs. So Jungle's getting through this with no charges at all. Maelin's having a slight more of an issue and getting a lot of charges, unfortunately. Hopefully, as Spike Ball runs out there, hopefully he got enough damage off in the first phase to just be able to get enough damage here, and we don't see a 4th phase for the second fight time in a row, and we don't know if that's good for Maelin. So not losing too much time there, even despite the bad RNG.
Yeah, definitely pretty good RNG, pretty equal. Janglestorm definitely a few seconds ahead, but we'll see if he manages to stay that, because as we've mentioned many times, RNG is a factor, as well as, you know, taking different shortcuts. Even just cutting some corners can definitely add up in time and could potentially allow Maelin to catch right up even before we get to the first boss.
Yeah, definitely a lot of places to catch up. Like the rats and the sewers have recently been very unforgiving to a couple players, so that could play a factor amongst other things.
So here we have Roddy Top, not Roddy Tops. Oh my goodness, hello, that's not Roddy Tops.
That's not Rossi Tops.
We have Risky Boots managing to capture Shantae in a bathtub she didn't own. And that always brings up the question, how the heck did Risky push that dang tub all the way into the lab without anyone noticing?
Maybe she had Rotty Tops help her.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, this is the first Cacklebat fight of the game, and this is the only one that we'll see, because we are not doing the true ending. We are just doing any percent, which is much faster and less painful.
So yeah, both runners getting a decent Cacklebat fight there. So next they'll be heading up to visit Sky in the hatchery to pick up the library card before heading down to do a mandatory save.
Ah, yes, my favorite mandatory save, because the only one. Thank goodness. But yeah, an interesting thing about this run is that in Shantae and the Pirates, because there are no auto saves, therefore, if someone were to die, it would send them right back to the only manual save that they've done, which for the most part is probably going to be this one save that you see them doing. So if they were to die, they'd probably get sent all the way back to the beginning, unless they were to take a safety save.
Yeah,
but
fortunately, we've seen that happen a few times during this tournament so far, including the last race. So it can happen. It is a very challenging game.
Definitely keeps you on your toes, that fact.
So Jangle didn't get any drops through Scarecrow Fields that I saw. Let's see if Maelin gets any luckier. Just 3 more Scarecrows to go. No. Oh, no,
There's a
gets the Monster
Mill.
Mill. That's very nice. Well, let's see if he gets a Pirate Flare as well.
Oh man, that'd be pretty good. But it doesn't look like they're gonna be... Oh, that's a bento box. It's gonna be pretty helpful as well, because bento boxes, not only can they give you health if you so need it, but mostly they're gonna be used for animation skips, which can shave off a few seconds, which, you know, in speedrunning, a few seconds is always much appreciated.
Yeah, definitely. What you see Maelin doing here, and probably saw Jangle doing, if you're paying attention, is get stuck between... Oh, he only gets two flesh pops there. By jumping between the ceiling and the snake and pogoing off it with your scimitar, you actually kill it multiple times. Maelin having to go a bit out of his way to get that final flesh pop. So yep, the snakes are coming into effect there.
Yeah, those snakes sometimes can be pretty stingy, but luckily, because this is no out of bounds, flesh pops are not super important. We just really need them to get past Bolo here and his toll for the undead kids. However, if we have a few extra, that is going to be pretty nice. Again, for animation skips. Meanwhile, Janglestorm now getting the Forbidden Isle map, which will allow him to move on to the first island and, you know, the first real fun time.
Yeah, so you see them heading through Scarecrow Fields. I don't think Jangle has another pike ball, so he won't be killing the orcs in this screen here in the forest. But he will be going through all the Scarecrows, hoping for a pike ball, super pike ball, or a monster milk. Probably getting nothing.
Yeah, Scarecrows can also be very stingy. There's a lot of things in this game that are just pretty stingy when it comes to their drops. It's rather frustrating.
Yeah, and Jangle not getting anything there, but he has enough gems to do the usual shopping route, so he won't be too disheartened.
Yeah, and the usual shopping route you'll see is he'll be picking up 3 pirate flares and then a super pike ball, and we'll be using the super pike ball for the second boss fight, the Emperor Spider fight. And the pirate flares are super handy because they allow you to go right back to the beginning of the level, no matter where you are, as long as you're not like inside a cave or something.
So let's see if Maelin gets any more luck, and he gets a super pike ball. Wow, luck's on his side today, minus those snakes, but that's the monster milk and a super pike ball he has. So it'll be interesting to see if he decides to forego buying a super pike ball in the shop or not.
Yeah, super pike ball, very good drop. Especially, that's probably the top tier drop that you want from those Scarecrows. And that's going to help him make up a lot of last time, especially since Janglestorm is having a little bit of trouble getting slapped around by some crabs. Did manage to get a bento box again from that mermaid. That's pretty good.
And Maelin choosing to skip the super pike ball by there, so that effectively turns his super pike ball drop into a drop of 40 gems. So
choosing to have some faith in the RNG of this game. Sometimes you'll see runners picking up a super pike ball anyways, just so that they are sure that they have 2 super pike balls in the bank if needed. Meanwhile, Janglestorm going up to attempt the skip. He looks like he went for the full skip there, but unfortunately did not fall down like he's supposed to. However, he did get the blink skip, which is what you saw him pausing and unpausing 3 times. That skips a long animation of the Gigalumix there, blinking his sleep away, and instead just allows them to instantly start drooling. Which gross, by the way.
Yeah, figure out why the island is called Saliva Island there. Yeah, with the petrify spell in hand, he will be going to go hand that off to a man who wants to use it to unpetrify his wife, but it doesn't go exactly according to plan.
Yeah. There are a lot of things that, you know, go wrong when people think it's going to go right in this game.
It all ends up going right for Shantae, so that's all that matters.
That is true. She's the only one that matters. It's fine. So you see petrify spell doing exactly what it says it's going to do, and it petrifies him. Which, you know, just so happens, by good luck, by RNG's luck, it opens up our first dungeon.
And they'll quickly be leaving the first dungeon into this bonus dungeon. So what they'll be doing here is collecting 2 keys. The way keys work in this game is that any key works on any dungeon, so they'll grab 2 additional keys here, and they will use them to stop having to grab additional keys later on.
Yeah, and if you're wondering why we're stockpiling keys, well, specifically we're stockpiling for a certain instance. We have to open like 3 doors at once. But basically, because this is no out of bounds, locked doors become a very big problem. If this was out of bounds, we have many ways to get around locked doors, but like I said, it's no out of bounds, so we have to actually abide by the game's rules somewhat, and we have to be able to get keys so that we can progress in the game.
Yeah, while we're not doing out of bounds, we are still doing some glitches, such as the risky shuffle and a few other things. They're definitely not a glitchless run.
Thank goodness. Yeah, you see Janglestorm getting a little bit low on health, but it doesn't matter too much. I still grab some more HP on this run here. And the eyeball, which is the first boss fight you'll see coming up, doesn't tend to do too much damage, so I'm not going to be too big of a worry. Just mostly some time loss that he's gathering from getting hit those 2 times. Meanwhile, Maelin going for the second key now, as Janglestorm progresses through the dungeon, going up to the Wetman room.
Yeah, what was interesting to note is Jangle didn't seem to trust his RNG and skipped a couple monsters on the way, one of which does have a very low chance of dropping a monster milk, so interesting to see him skip that. He doesn't trust his RNG at all.
So you see Janglestorm doing some pogo sticking. If you're wondering why we do the pogo stick instead of the cannonballs, because the cannonballs only hit one of those guys. However, the pogo stick manages to hit both of them. So simply quicker like that. As Janglestorm approaches the giant eyeball, and make sure you don't blink, because if you do, you might miss the first phase of the boss fight.
That eyeball can't blink. It has no just an eyeball.
Yeah, kind of awkward. Must be very dried out.
I guess that's that leaf thing around it to blink with. Anyway, yeah, by getting stuck between the ceiling and the enemy, you can peg off it a lot of times, and it's in the second phase here, making short work of the eye here. Now you see it, now you don't.
Oh hey, look at that! He finished the game. Wow, that's a world record.
Wow, 12:59. Oh, there we go.
But yeah, so yeah, that's really the first instance where you'll see us really abusing pirate mode, which again is the mode that allows us to have all the items that we've gathered throughout the game. Because normally in that game, in that boss fight, we wouldn't have the pogo stick and the cannonball, but because we do, we can abuse it and do just like you see Maelin doing and what we saw Janglestorm doing.
Jungle running out of live Ralland here instead of using a pirate flare. The reason for that is they've got limited money for pirate flares at the start, and the amount of time saved there is, I think, it's only 6 seconds if you used a pirate flare, so you could spend a while farming 30 gems, but that'll probably take longer than 6 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. Maelin having a little bit of trouble with the eyeball, but manages to wrap it up in the end. Meanwhile, Janglestorm carrying onward, my wayward son, and he is now heading towards our favorite part of the game by far, which is going to be Run Run Roddy Top.
Yeah, definitely everyone's favorite part. So Run Run Rotty Tops, as you will be seeing shortly, is a not quite an auto scroller, but it's effectively the same. There is not a whole lot you can do to speed it up, but there is a lot you can do to slow it down by taking unnecessary deaths. So when you get hit by any enemy in Run Run Rotty Tops, you're sent back to the start of the room. So some of the rooms can be very long, over 30 seconds long. So if you get hit at the end of that, that's just a straight 30-second time loss.
for sure. And this room is while it's not fun to play, it's pretty fun to watch because you'll see some pretty cool tech. Just she really shows the experience of some of these runners. You know, someone like PK, I bet, could probably do this blindfolded. That's pretty cool. It's you know, very simplistic, but shows off a lot of the skill of the runner. Meanwhile,
Maelin
Gatekeeper being very nice to janglestorm.
I was going to say, Maelin having a little trouble with the ghost there. So we know that ghosts can spawn in certain places, but we don't know which place they're going to spawn in. As Jungle takes a death to the final string of that room, that is quite a significant time loss, and decides to wait out the Gatekeeper.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Gatekeeper tends to sometimes be nice the first round, but if you get killed by someone other than Gatekeeper, he tends to be a bit more punishing.
Yeah, no double entry for them today. Only get one free entry.
Yeah. Janglestorm, obviously, playing a little bit more cautious. It seems like that got into his mind a little bit because he didn't manage to get really any of those other drop downs in front of the tongue. But, you know, he's carrying on like a true trooper.
Yeah, gives Maelin a little bit of chance to catch up, so they're fairly close together now, just a couple rooms apart. As you can see, why we can't really speed this up. The vast majority of Runner and Rotty Tops is waiting for cycles to happen as Maelin gets hit by the Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper trying to be nice the second time. Maelin now coming up on the giant spike stained rooms that Janglestorm is just now passing. Janglestorm will now be coming up to the graveyard bug tombstone thingamajiggers. The thing about this is that we know where the bugs can pop up. You see there's a bunch of tombstones, and only some of those are bugs. But the thing is, we don't know if or when they'll pop up, because sometimes none of them will pop up, and then sometimes all of them will pop up. So the key here is just to try to avoid as many of them as you can while still, you know, being fast.
Yeah, that's good tombstone room from Jungle there. Not really in any risk of getting hurt at all. As he's now in one of the two long rooms of Runner and Rotty Tops. This one, thankfully, not too difficult, but still easy to do a slight mistake and lose a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure. These kissy robots, they just kind of they see Shantae and they just want to give her a nice kiss. But Shantae obviously in a bit of a hurry and ain't got no time for that.
How do you know they're not after Rotty Tops?
You know, that's a fair point. We'll never know. It's one of the great mysteries of the game.
Along with many others.
Yeah, Wait For It is great about creating mysteries. Let me tell you. Some good ones.
So Jangle now in the with the Stevens. Do you want to explain why they're called the Stevens?
No, because there's no reason. They're just the Stevens. It's just their name. They look like Stevens to me, and that's why I called them Stevens. Meanwhile, the gates are being closed to Janglestorm, unfortunately. However, the Stevens being nice and not, you know, adding an interesting pattern for him. While he moves on to the final room of Run Ride Tops. This is the hardest room because it throws every enemy that you've encountered in Run Ride Tops, as well as very long. And pretty easy to die in, especially at the end where they almost pincer you. But we'll, you know, we gotta have faith in Janglestorm that he can do it. Because if he doesn't, then he's gonna lose a good 30 seconds, and Maelin would definitely be able to catch up on him. However, looks like the bugs were very nice to him, and with that, Janglestorm will be done with Run Ride Tops. Yeah,
that was a very good Run Rotty Tops by him. Missing a spike skip in that final room, but beyond that was really good as Maelin takes a death to the Stevens.
Yeah, Stevens can be brutal. They don't really like people. Unfortunately, they're not people. Janglestorm now, having completed Run Ride Tops, will deposit Run I almost called her Run Rowdy Tops. Her name's just Rowdy Tops. And he'll deposit her to her and go to Poe, who we will fix his nice little wagon there, so that we can continue the story and then eventually go on to the second dungeon.
And speaking of mysterious things in the game, we'll have a mysterious text box coming up here, which we can't skip.
So, yeah, if you ever played this game, then you know that shriveled thing. Boy, howdy, it smells.
Maelin taking a death to the kissy robots at the end. They're getting unfortunate luck with the tombstones and the tongue having to slow down, and lets the kissy robot catch up and get his reward.
Yeah, so that's unfortunately going to be a huge time loss, and that's what I was talking about. The whole being pinched, or pinched or whatever. You know, that ends. That really is a tight window. So getting hit there is really unfortunate, but you know, sometimes there's not much you can do about that. Meanwhile, Janglestorm has entered the second dungeon, picks himself up a nice little pike ball there, and will head on down to pick up another key.
Yeah, so yeah, with that pike ball, he'll be using it on the Batgirl here, so he probably wanted one just to try and speed that up by a cycle, but maybe he also thought it could be a super pike ball. Unfortunately not, but he'll be hoping for a good drop off the Batgirl here. We will see.
Yeah, the Batgirl has the possibility of dropping either a super pike ball or a super monster milk, or sometimes if you're really not nice, nothing, but looks like he'll drop nothing for him, unfortunately. So yeah, that's not gonna be very happy. He's not gonna be very happy about that. However, you know, he's still in a decent place right now. He still has the super pike ball for the spider, which is very important. But you know, he's definitely gotta be pretty upset that the Batgirl is not very happy.
Yeah, he's not really had anything, any drops yet, so not too happy with RNG, although he did have a good ammo baron, so can't complain too much quite yet.
Well, Maelin now entering the dungeon. We'll see if the Batgirl is kinder to him. Janglestorm climbs his way up to this spooky spike area.
So interesting to see if Maelin will use his monster milk he got earlier on the boss here, if we'll save it for later on. But we'll find out as soon as Maelin gets a super pike ball, RNG is definitely on his side today.
Yeah, RNG, the game noticed that he was a little bit behind Janglestorm and decided to give him a little bit of a boost, I guess. No, Janglestorm is going to be looking to try to get inside of the Empress Spider hitbox and get stuck in it. Looks like he had it there for a little bit. He's having a little bit of trouble. The reason that we're going to be trying to get stuck in there is because when you get hit, Shantae's cannonball jumps reset, which allows us to kind of stay there and keep dealing out damage to the Empress Spider. He's realized that he's pretty low on health, so it looks like he's taking a little bit of a safe strat, playing some chicken. Manages to get the spider fight done and done. No troubles really whatsoever.
Yeah, and the game getting confused there and thinking Maelin is Nori by giving him a pirate flare from that Batgirl.
Wow. So that's a pretty rare drop there.
Yeah, but it's still a nice drop. Better than getting nothing, saves you 30 gems later on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think Maelin will complain about getting a pirate flare.
And then with the super pike ball he got earlier as well in the dungeon, he definitely can't be happy. But yeah, interesting to see if Maelin decides to use his monster milk here, which should speed up the fight by a few seconds if he does. Or he used it on the last boss, didn't he? Never mind, ignore me. Did he? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
No, he didn't. No, so he might use it here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It definitely speeds up the boss. However, he's opting not to, possibly saving it for one of the more hard-hitting bosses. Maybe not as comfortable with some later bosses as he is with this one. We'll see if he manages to get stuck in the hitbox. Looks like He looks like he had it there for a little bit. Gonna be looking to try again. Looks like he's having a little bit of trouble. However, he's getting some good damage in nonetheless.
Pirate flare activated.
Looks like he's probably close to dying soon. And with that, he finishes up the spider fight.
And the most important thing for both runners there is that neither of them lost their auto potions, so they still have that safety for the rest of the run.
Yes, that's very important. The spider is definitely an auto potion destroyer there. Meanwhile, Janglestorm has now begun the first fetch quest of the run. We need to find a bunch of mummy sketches in order to get inside Tanline Temple. So that's why he's back here in Saliva Island, looking for the first one here. Has to skip over these mermaids who can sometimes be a jerk, but not to him. They apparently like him.
So with this mummy sketch in hand, he'll be heading back to Scuttletown to pick up the last one, and will most certainly be doing a shop, so it'll be interesting to see exactly what he chooses to buy here.
Yeah, some runners have the option of if they feel like their RNG has been good and they want to push their luck, they can go for a two-shop strategy here. I don't think Janglestorm will be doing it just because his RNG has not been very favorable. Maelin, on the other hand, I wouldn't be surprised to see it coming out of him. I think he's in a good spot to do it.
He's in a less good spot now, as instead of switching to he thought he'd switched to his Pirate Flare, but still had his Super Pipe Ball selected, so when he tried to Pirate Flare, instead he used his Super Pipe Balls, but thankfully that Scorp Gal bails him out and gives him that Super Pipe Ball back.
Yeah, very unfortunate. But like you said, Scorp Gal trying to be kind, as this game has been very kind to Maelin all run. Scorp Gals are very good for farming up items if you so need it, because they can drop either a Super Monster Milk or a Super Fight Ball. Janglestorm now going to be heading to get the Enchanted Blade. He's going to be killing a bunch of these skeletons who have a slight chance to drop a Super Fight Ball. Doesn't look like he get the first pass. However, with killing so many of those skeletons, the chance of dropping a Super Fight Ball becomes much higher, as Maelin manages to get a Bubble Shield.
Yeah, Bubble Shield. You basically need one. It's almost mandatory throughout the run. I don't think Django got anything on the way back through there.
He definitely did not.
But yeah, one Bubble Shield is mandatory almost. Two Bubble Shields is ideal. You can use it on a Steel Maggot as well.
Man. I feel like it's probably a good thing that Jangles has no idea what kind of RNG Maelin's getting, because that would probably make him a little bit upset right now.
Unfortunately, there's no such thing as the Bolo Shield, but it probably wouldn't be very effective if there was.
Not quite sure what Janglestorm's doing here, but it's like he's doing some kind of spiritual dance to invoke the RNG gods.
Well, let's see if it works.
But either way, whether the RNG dance worked or not, he does manage to get inside of Tanline Temple, which will begin the segment we like to call Metal Gear Shantae. Metal Gear Shantae is a fun little section that is a stealth section. And basically what it is you see those big guys right there. If they see so much as a toe of Shantae, they're going to catch her and they're going to send her right back to the beginning of the section, which is a huge time loss. It can be up to like 2 minutes of loss as if you lose it, if you get caught at the last room. So Jangle's going to hope that that's not going to happen.
Not quite 2 minutes, but a little over a minute if you get caught by the final guard.
Oh. It feels like 2 minutes.
Feels like longer than that, but yeah.
Yeah, Jangle not going for the extra gems there. Feels like
Maelin just gets a pipe ball on his way through. So maybe his RNG has run out finally, but he'll probably get 7 super pikes on the way back now I've said that.
Sure, Janglestorm, not having any trouble with the final room, so he'll now go and use up all the keys he's gathered so far. This is why we were stockpiling keys, because we need to open these 3 doors to save these girls who have, for some reason, followed us into this temple and also got themselves caught. Risky because we were taking too long.
Yeah, Maelin gets the super pike on his way back through, so not only gets another super monster milk there,
Oh my goodness.
The game really likes him this run.
Jeez. Who did he pay off to get this RNG? Like, I want to know.
Brownie tops.
Maelin just now going to be entering 10-line temple as Janglestorm finishes it up. The girl's pulling down this giant rope, which for some reason is the only way to open this door. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it looked like the actual princess would have no trouble opening that rope by herself, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with you there. Maelin now making his way through the first room. We'll see if he gets caught. Hopefully not, because he needs to be able to catch up a little bit here. His RNG will definitely help him with that. However, not much he can help him with if he gets caught. While Janglestorm destroys this wall that was in his way, and now is going to be moving on to the third dungeon.
Interesting choice of Scorp Gal to kill there. I think most people would prefer to do the one in the next room. But gets the super monster milk. He knows what he's doing. He knew that one would drop a super monster milk. He's got to be very careful with his health now. One more hit from those Scorp Gals, and his auto potion goes bye-bye.
Yeah, and that would be especially kind of demoralizing if you lost your auto potion to just a normal enemy. I've done it before, and I know it does not feel good. I mean, it never feels good to lose your auto potion, but especially not to a normal enemy. Janglestorm looks like he's going for a somewhat different pattern. He's going for this 10-line temple key instead of a later on one.
Yeah, unfortunately, he only gets 5 gems out of it, but yeah, that's become a more increasingly common strategy to see. It gives you a decent chance of a super pike ball or a super monster milk, so worth going for sometimes if you're feeling RNG's not on your side.
Yeah, I know.
Jangle has to be careful here.
Yeah, I know. I have begun to adopt the strategy because I like it. It feels better. Yeah, meanwhile, Janglestorm definitely in the danger zone here, as one hit from the Scorp Gals coming up will end his auto potion's career.
As he dashes through the blades there of that grasshoppery thing, which should have done 3 damage to him, but thankfully, as you're dashing, you're invincible. So that was extremely close.
Now he's gonna look to get the 1 cycle on the Crusher room. I think he got it. I think he should be no problem there.
That should be fine.
As always, it looks very close, but you know, did not get squished. So that's the important part as he moves on to our good friend the Squid Baron. Squid Baron is a pretty simple fight. He's just gonna basically go all over the place trying to kill Shantae. Janglestorm opted not to use one of his super pike ball, which I definitely understand, given his RNG. However, it makes his makes it so that his timing is gonna have to be on point, and getting hit like that is definitely not gonna help. As he didn't manage to kill him before the eating happened, however, did manage to get it before the eating got too out of hand. As he moves on to Squid Baron 2.0. Where he's gonna have to knock off that shield first, and now he's gonna hope that all of his damage is enough, but it's not enough to get him kind of in that eating stuck position that we like, because if we get him to start eating after we knock off the shield, usually we can just finish him off right then and there. However, Janglestorm still managing to have a pretty good fight.
Yeah, no, pretty good recovery despite not getting the quickest pattern there. As you see, Maelin here choosing not to go through the additional key here, so that means Jungle will save a few seconds on him later on in the final dungeon. But a very, very good purple block room there by Maelin. Pretty much perfect how you want that to go.
Flare activated.
Let's see if RNG continues to be in Maelin's favor. So he has these 2 Scorpions to kill. Now Janglestorm will not be going to Mudbog Island, but instead we'll be going back to Stone Town in order to get the Death Mask.
Yeah, Maelin not going for the one cycle there and playing it safe and
Understandable, especially if you realize that you have not quite, got the timing right sometimes, Instead of trying to do one cycle again, it's better to just stop halfway through the squisher room. So I'm now heading to everyone's worst nightmare. It's Mudbog Island, which you'll see has a lot of enemies, and yeah, it's pretty easy to die on if you mess up.
definitely very easy to get swarmed by the enemies if you just take one hit in the wrong place here, but thankfully Jangle's getting through it no problem so far.
Maelin managing to get Squid Baron before he starts eating. I think he only used... I don't remember. I think he only used his monster milk for this. No, never mind. He used his super monster milk. So he went all out for the Squid Baron fight. Understandable, because Squid Baron can be a pain.
Yep, so heading into the Village of Lost Souls now, Janglestorm will be going to collect 3 different coins that we'll be using to play a lovely game of heads and tails.
Yes, lovely indeed. Yeah, and so the deal with this is that we're gonna be gathering the 3 coins, and then we're gonna I just had a brain fart. No, yeah, okay, I got it. Don't worry, chat, I got this. We're gonna gather the 3 coins, and then we're gonna bring them back to those gamers that you saw, and we are going to play, like you said, a lovely game of Heads and Tails, and the idea of this is that we have no idea whether it will be heads or tails. So we just kind of guess heads all the time, hoping that RNG will be favorable, but knowing our luck, it's probably not going to be favorable.
Yeah, a few players have started adopting the heads, tails strategy, just because that seems to happen more often than heads, but every time I've tried it, it's been heads, so it just never seems to work for me.
Yeah, the game just knows sometimes. It just knows. And the nice thing about it is that if you fail the game 3 times, WayForward decided that was enough punishment, and does give you the automatic win. So we'll see how many heads, tails Janglestorm gets. Oh, none.
Is that just straight heads?
Yeah, getting the perfect RNG. While Maelin's having some trouble with Mudbog Island. This is that as you see there. That's why Mudbog Island is so dangerous. Yeah, this because of the huge amount of enemies there. It really makes it hard to gather up that charge that you see. But Maelin managing to get through it. Thank goodness.
Yeah, now with the flame deposited and the manly musk picked up, Jangle can then enter into the oubliette of suffering.
Yes, because for some reason a stone entrance to a cave can smell. I got nothing for you there.
I guess it knows what's up.
I think you just made me choke there.
I don't apologize.
Well, Jinglestorm, now, like you said, now is in Oogler suffering. Yeah, Maelin did nab a lobster tail. So that's pretty nice. Meanwhile, Janglestorm, as you see, effectively skipping 90% of the dungeon just by doing that risky shuffle in that situation. In a normal game, you have to go all around through the dungeon until you get the risky boots, which allows, like I said earlier, allows us to do that charge. But because we have, one, we have the risky boots, and two, we can do a risky shuffle, we get to ignore that puzzle, which I still have no idea how it works, and then we get to move on to Dagron here.
Pike ball, monster milk.
Yeah, so using regular Monster Milk or regular Pike Balls, I think that'll be I think you can just about 3-cycle it if you get good hits going up with that.
Sounds
Otherwise
about
it'll
right.
be a 4-cycle.
Either way, Dagron, not a necessarily too difficult fight. The biggest problem with him is that he tends to have a domino effect, meaning that if you get hit like Janglestorm just did, usually sometimes you'll get hit multiple times, then it's just kind of an auto potion burner. However, Janglestorm getting lucky with that invincibility frames, managing not to get hit with that, and having a pretty clean Dagron fight.
Yeah, just missing that one, and yeah, unfortunately just missing out on the 3-cycle, but getting a nice quick 4-cycle, so no problem at all. A decent fight by Janglestorm there.
Tinkerbass.
There's Maelin now, who gets his flame after conquering the gamers, and we'll be heading into the dungeon himself shortly. So might get a virtual high five here as Maelin drops down as Jangle charges through.
Looks like they'll probably miss. That's
Jangle not waiting for him. That's very rude of him.
I know, right? Don't leave a brother hanging. It's like bro code 101. Either way, Janglestorm now leaving Village of Lost Souls in Muddog Island forever and ever and ever until next race. And will now be going over to Frostbite Island.
Yeah, the final main island of the game here, so interesting to see if he decides to kill any of the wolves along the way here. They have a very low drop chance of either a Super Pike Ball or a Super Monster Milk, both of which I believe he needs or would like to have, so we'll see what he decides to do here.
Yeah, looks like he's at least getting that one. That wolf's pretty easy to kill, though, so I don't blame anyone who goes for that. Yeah, it looks like he's targeting some wolves. Like you said, probably a good idea for him, simply because his RNG has not been very favorable.
Maelin having a little trouble entering the oubliette part of the oubliette of suffering, but gets the entrance open in the end. And nearly fell in the pit, but managed to avoid it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And taking a safety save here before Dagron. Don't blame him. He still has his auto potion, so not in too much of danger, but just wants to be extra safe.
Again, opting for using one of his Monster Milk instead of his only Super Monster Milk. Makes sense because, like I said before, Dagron not necessarily hard. And definitely want to save the Super Monster Milk for either the Steel Maggot fight or the Pirate Master fight.
Yep, should be a fairly easy 3-cycle here by Maelin. Although missing the hit there, a small time loss. And yeah, he's just waiting for him to get back into cycle here.
Playing it safe by using one of his bento boxes to heal up. Very good idea. You know, because again, you never know with Dagron how much he'll steamroll you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was a nice fight by Maelin. A couple of minor mishaps, getting hit that once, but recovered well from that and had a good rest of the run. As Jangle choosing to kill the Kissy robots here, wanting some more gems, he was definitely very unhappy with what he's got so far.
Yeah, and definitely can't blame him for that, especially seeing how RNG has been favorable to Maelin. But yeah, you see, normally in the out of bounds run, we skip the vast majority of Coward Town. But because, again, there's no out of bounds zone, we get to see some pretty cool tech here, utilizing all of the items in the game. Even though we're not supposed to have the cannonball yet in the game. Picking up the targeting module from Bolo, meaning that we will now begin the last fetch quest of the game. Now he's going to go to Spiderweb Islands in order to find out who that lost soul that we got in the Ooblet of Suffering, who that lost soul is, and if he'll be any help.
Probably not. Probably just be useless.
Yeah. I mean, I've never found any uses for my lost soul.
Let's see if Shantae gets some luck and actually has a use for this one.
Find out soon who that lost soul is. Oh. Well, that's interesting.
Well, that's never happened before.
Looks like Janglestorm is getting some good RNG and got the Spirit of Joe.
Pirate flare activated.
I mean, he
Yeah,
can
it's really
actually
unfortunate when you get the Spirit of Dagron from that and have to go revive him instead.
Yeah, that's really awkward. Especially awkward when you get the Spirit of Squid Baron, considering he's not even dead. So Janglestorm stocking up on all the things he thinks he'll need. Grabbing that bubble shield, good. Because he'll need that for the final boss for sure. He'll now go back through the Scarecrow area. Yeah, probably wanting to hit as many Scarecrows as you want just for that extra RNG. However, he is opting to jump over them.
His RNG ceiling must be off. He knew which ones he wanted to kill, but they didn't at the drop, so his RNG must be off from what he thinks it is.
Yeah, it must be seed 2 instead of seed 3.
Maelin's working his way through Propeller Town now, about to head up to Bolo.
Well, Janglestorm hopefully will be getting the Nutbuster.
Pirate flare.
No, he misses the Nutbuster. Well, that's an invalid run right there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, missing the Nutbuster on the person who is totally not He-Man, and then always says the He-Man in the chat is lying.
It's very true. He's super duper not He-Man. Because we don't want to get sued. Wow, Janglestorm now finishing up the fetch quest, giving the module to the bad guy. Some reason, so that he can shoot at the temple. I mean, the palace, but luckily Bolo's an idiot and calibrated the module wrong, so instead of hitting the palace, it hits the exact spot that opens up the last dungeon.
How do you know Bolo didn't plan that? I mean, he didn't, because Bolo's an idiot, but how do you know he didn't?
I mean, you answered your own question there.
Yeah, I did, yeah, you're right.
Well, Janglestorm now heading back through the wolf area to go into the final dungeon. In quote. Final. However, he does have that one extra key from the Squid Baron dungeon. I totally forgot the name of it, but that doesn't matter because it's Squid Baron dungeon to me. So he will be able to skip one of the keys that we would normally get here. Looking like he's skipping the one that is up top and instead going for the one that we pick up here. And that chest right there that you see up on top of the screen. He'll be going there, scrounging that up, and then we'll have no use for any more keys. We'll be done with keys forever.
Yeah, and avoiding the ice block despite trying to go into the ice block's hole, he avoids it, so that's very nice, otherwise it'd be sent back to the start of the room.
Yeah, trying to get that the extra super pipe ball that's hidden in the ice block room, but unfortunately that room is permanently blocked off forever. As he goes into Steel Maggot. So the idea with Steel Maggot is that you gotta hit those buttons on the back of his back in a certain order. And you may be wondering, well, how do we know what the order is? And the answer is we just flat out don't, because it's complete RNG. Which Steel Maggot really is a make or break boss. He can really make your run, or he can break it if the RNG is really bad. Janglestorm having a little bit of trouble. Manages to find the first code number, however, getting that one wrong. Being slapped by a little bubble there.
I should have no trouble finishing him off here in 2 cycles. Should be dead momentarily, and there he is. That was a decent Steel Maggot fight. Not the best, but you can have a lot worse than that.
Oh yeah, you can. So he's finished up the Steel Maggot, which means he'll be going to the last split of the game. While Maelin now is charging through, going to Nutbuster Man. Not picking up anything that I saw.
I think that's the first I've ever seen anyone talk to him from. I didn't even realize you could be that far away.
He's going for the Phantom Nutbuster.
This is like super invalidated.
Yeah, I know, right? No, it's only super invalidated when you turn away from it. Maelin, I guess, forgetting a Pirate Flare because he's having to run back instead of using a Pirate Flare.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. It's probably quicker to go into the shop, buy a Pirate Flare, and use it to get back than it is to run back.
Yeah, for sure. Picking up a nice, super totally useful pike ball from the Scarecrows. Wow. Meanwhile, on Janglestorm's screen, the Pirate Master now has abducted Rowdy. I almost just called it Rowdy Tops again. I'm sorry, I just have Rowdy Tops on my mind at all times. Pirate Master abducting Risky, and now has moved into Skull Town and has completely taken it over. Everything's spooky and scary now. And now Shantae's got to go save the world.
The jungle's on for a decent pace here. Should be low 54-ish time, I believe. That's the decent pace.
Especially if he gets the climb. Good. Yeah, so he'll be going into the now Pirate Master's Palace, and we'll be doing what we call the climb. So get your Miley Cyrus's ready. Basically, what's going to be happening here is he's going to be jumping and activating his parachute hat, just like that, which gives you just enough of a boost to get you high enough so that we can land on the platform above. That's not normally how you're supposed to do it. Normally, we have to go through what's called the Pirate Master Trials, but no one likes those. They're annoying and hard and way too time-consuming.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job of it so far, even getting one of the additional ones you can choose to go for. So that was a very, very nice climb by Jungle there.
Yeah, very good. Not opting for the save, which is fine, because I believe he still has an auto potion. However, he does still have to be a little bit more careful, because Pirate Master does have the ability to one-shot you. Just walking into him will do 4 damage, which is 1 heart that you see there. However, one of his bubbles of death that he throws out, which he'll be throwing out soon, does do 8 damage. However, our bubble shield that we have there does negate that completely. And it looks like he's got this pretty in the bag, I'd say.
Yeah, it's very good pace so far. Taking an unfortunate hit there, but that shouldn't matter.
And there we go.
Whereas Maelin takes hit by the ice block that Jangle tried to hug earlier. But yeah, Janglestorm finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 54.20 seconds.
That's very good pace. Well, he has officially destroyed the Pirate Master and saved the... I mean, well, wait, he hasn't really killed the Pirate Master because it's not the true ending. Hey, look, Pirate Master's still alive.
Even that's not the truest of endings, but...
That's true. There's one true ending. But unfortunately, you can't do that because then you kind of trash the game. feels bad.
Maelin having a bit of trouble here with Steel Maggot and not quite getting the pattern down. And missing a few of the cannon shots.
Oof, yeah. However, he'll he looks like he has 2 super Pike Balls and super Monster Milk, so he'll just be burning those in order to kill Steel Maggot as quickly as possible. However, the RNG still not being very favorable for him. Oof, running into Steel Maggot, unfortunately. It looks like it's 2-3-1. It's not the worst pattern that you can get. Pretty easy to hit. I don't think he'll. Oh, never mind. He got it. I was about to say I don't think he'll get that 2 cycle because he had to adjust himself, but he proved it wrong.
Let's bring Jangle in here for a post-race interview as Maelin's done with Steel Maggot. GG, Jangle. That was a very good run there. What did you think of it?
Well, some parts were rough, especially with the item luck that wasn't so strong.
Yeah, you had some rough times with that RNG, but I mean, you managed to pull it out pretty well.
Yeah, eventually I was like, okay, maybe I need to collect some more gems, and that's why I bought the Super Monster Milk in the end, for instance, and also the Bubble Shield, so I was at least set for the final part of the game.
Yeah,
Yes.
you had some.
So that
some
puts
rough
you
times with that
2-1 in
RNG,
your
but,
group now, I
mean,
believe.
You managed to pull it out pretty well.
Yeah.
Was there anything that kind of stood out to you in that run as opposed to normal runs?
What stood out? Well, yeah, I would first of all say the lack of items that I got. I mean, pretty much throughout, really. I mostly got gems, really, when I was trying to grind for super items, for instance, and I think that's the one thing that really stood out here. I think
in that run as opposed to normal runs. The RNG was pretty punishing for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you played it perfectly though for your lack of items. You managed to, you didn't lose your auto potion, so that was nice.
Yeah, I was sort of happy about that. Like, I was sort of thinking, okay, let's make sure I don't lose it during the Emperor Spider fight, because that's one of those moments when it can happen if you try to do that strat where you stay in the air, which I've been sort of trying to do, but I've never been really successful at. So when I saw I was dropping health, I was like, okay, let's take it easy from here.
For sure.
Maelin now heading into Pirate Master's Palace, just about to do the climb. So he's on a decent pace here, just heading 58 minutes, and so yeah, shouldn't be too far behind his PB, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where you had pretty bad RNG, Maelin. Oh boy, he got some godlike RNG.
Palace, just about to do the climb, so he's on a decent pace.
He was getting super Pike Balls out the wazoo.
Yeah, shouldn't be too far behind his PB, I believe.
Yeah, seems like he's about to get there.
Yeah, where you had pretty bad RNG. Let me ask you this. When you have that kind of bad RNG, like what is your thought process? Like how is your strategy change maybe, or anything like that? Out the wazoo.
Well, yeah, it sort of depends. It's usually around the time I get to the 10-9 temple. That's when I usually check for the items. Like
when you have that kind of bad
for instance,
RNG,
if I have enough super items or not.
Process? Like how is your strategy change?
And yeah, that's when I decide, okay, I'm gonna grind for some extra items or not. And well, basically with the route change, which involves me getting the key from the dungeon after that, sort of also gives me an extra opportunity to grind for items for Scorpio. So that's a nice thing.
Yeah, more and more people have been picking up that extra Scorpio in Tan line now. It's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, I found it interesting. I was like, I can see it working, and usually I have a tendency to grind for it anyway, just to get the most optimal setup. But well, it doesn't always work out that way, obviously. So
Yeah, more and more people have been picking up that extra Scorpio in tan line now. It's an interesting strategy.
It's like where Maelin is now gonna be finishing up his fight soon.
Yep.
Taking a hit there, but not having too much trouble with it. Although unfortunately, popping his auto potion, so he does have to be careful now.
Like where
You should kill him before the
Maelin is
lasers
now
go off.
gonna be
If the lasers hit
finishing
him,
up.
it will kill him in one hit, but he manages it, no problem at all. And Maelin finishing in second place with an official SRL time of 1 hour and 28 seconds.
Very nice. Very nice.
Taking a hit there, but not having too much trouble with It it. looks although
like
he's ready for an unfortunately, interview as well, so popping his let's auto
so
bring
he
Maelin
does
in.
have
Be careful now. You should kill him before the
GG, Maelin. That was a decent run. A lot of good RNG in there. How do you feel about it?
It was pretty. I felt it was overall, pretty good. I did notice, so I did have a lot of sloppy execution, but overall, I felt it was actually not bad with that run, considering I haven't finished a run in a while. So still happy with it.
What was going through your head when you used the super pipe ball after Cackle Tower instead of the pirate flare?
I'm an idiot.
Thankfully, the Scorp girl shortly after returned that to you, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it was kind of. Usually, in a lot of my runs, I haven't been going for the Scorp girls there, but I've actually started to realize now how useful they are. So, yeah, it definitely saved me there, I think.
Was there anything that stood out in this run as opposed to any other runs that you have done?
Trying to think. Oh, I had a good Squid Baron for once.
Yeah, it was very good. I mean, you got him before he started eating, and got him to eat so that you could smash him in phase 2. It was very good.
Yeah, I just finished learning how to do that earlier today, so I figured I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, definitely worked out for you in the end. So I guess for either of you, do you have any last words to say? I guess since probably should be wrapping up soon.
Well, GG, Maelin.
Yeah, GG Jangle. It was a really fun race.
Yeah, same. It was a fun race.
Always good to see some good sportsmanship in these kind of warms my heart. But yeah, definitely go follow these two lovely individuals. See them do their stuff more often. Go follow my partner in crime here, Majati. Follow me if you like someone streaming once a month. That's fine. Go do that if you feel like it. But other than that, I believe we have another race coming up at 8 p.m. EST.
That's correct. That'll be over on Speed Gaming 4.
Should be a good one. Kid of Seth versus JT Norimaki. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching us, and thanks again for Speed Gaming for actually hosting this tournament. Ever appreciative of that. And yeah, got anything else to say? I'll take that as a note. So from all of us here, good night. It's not nighttime for me yet, but if it is, good night. If it's afternoon, good afternoon. Love you all. Kisses.